It's the Really Charlie podcast. Sounds so true. Grab a chair, pour out a glass. Let's break through. Echoes in the room as the stories unfold. Tune in, lean back, let the moments be bold. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie podcast. Tune your ear. With each word spoken, we're drawing you near. Yo, it's the Really Charlie podcast. Set your mind free. Diving deep, discover what's meant to be.
Divide.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up, Charlie? How you doing, man?
Welcome everybody to Sometimes You Have to Lose Yourself podcast. I'm Charlie Perry, along with my other host here, Marvin Speller. Coach, as we call him. Coach is definitely one of the go-tos in my eyes, and I am so glad that we do this podcast every week on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We just created a new page on YouTube. So just put in Sometimes You Have to Lose Yourself, and you should go right to the podcast. I will there actually is a link in the comment section. So just hit that link and you will go straight to the podcast channel, and please like and subscribe. We just got it started, so let's build those numbers up, and we promise you we're going to be here every week doing our thing and giving you a great show. So, all right,
Well
man.
Well said as always, my brother.
Thank you. This is week 6, episode 6, and we are definitely moving along the number line and creating some great episodes. This past week, doing a few things, work, home, lazy holiday weekend for me. I was should have did a lot of things around the house, and I didn't do it, and shame on me. So but it was a great week.
Yeah, I mean, I had a great weekend. It was 3 days of some work, but for the most part, it was a great weekend.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just get away and relax, and sometimes the best thing you do is nothing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The one thing I like about Saturdays is get to sit down and kind of sleep in a little bit, relax. I have no clocks to look at, just kind of chill out.
Nice.
And do out, my thing. It's all right. Let me see. I'm gonna share our YouTube channel on Facebook. That way people see it. Oh, actually, there we go. All right. So I actually had as an author, you and I both are. You got a book that it's coming along and it's almost done. Well, it actually is done. You just got some decisions to make, right?
Yeah, just who's going to publish. That's pretty much nailed, but Man, I tell you what, I'm just doing the fine tuning, and I don't want to tinker with it too much
Hmm.
because I'll wind up adding other chapters, and I really want to continue where I'm going to leave off, which I'm proud of what it is, but I may add a sentence or two here and there, but it's done, man. It's done.
Mm.
I'm excited. This this is something I poured my heart into, and uh, it's probably something for the entire world. That's what I feel. I think the
Mm.
world needs something like this, and um, I think, as I've shared with you before, I would say we're in this day and time where you see it more and more. People are sharing, and sometimes sharing is caring, right? And I
Hmm.
think sometimes with sharing, it's really good to. It's a level of expression. When we get on and do this, Charlie, to me, this is my therapy. This
Yeah,
is my therapy to be able to share what's on my heart and just the way it is, just what I feel, it's what I said. I'm glad there's this platform. Some people could have it. Could be a barber shop. It could be a hair salon. It could be a bunch of friends getting together. It could be something I've been doing lately here in LA is going to spades parties.
mm, yep,
Loving spades, man, and it's a great opportunity for people to come together um, and just breaking bread. That's what they called this for centuries, breaking bread. I think it's a level of people getting together, just being themselves, authentically being themselves, and having an opportunity just to share what it is instead of going through what you're going through in silence. Um,
exactly.
yeah, so it's kind of where it's at, man. And so, yeah, it's kind of
Uh,
my initial thoughts today, my brother.
Good, good. Want to say hello to Michael. How you doing? He says hello to both of us.
Hey,
Um,
Michael, how are you?
Watching us on YouTube. Michael, just to let you know, if you got on late, we started a new YouTube channel for the podcast. So if you if you like us. If you want to see more of us, then subscribe to the channel on YouTube. I really would appreciate that, Michael. The so as you talk about therapy and on the podcast, therapy really in the book. Um and I get that. I really get that. I get that so much that that your book has inspired me to grab some things that I had on the shelf and actually just trying to get them published on Amazon. And so I was doing that, and I just want to say thank you because one of them has been sitting around for a long, long time.
Hmm.
And as you know, as far as I could say, I think it was week 3 you started mentioning about it, the book, your book, and it just started triggering and sitting in my ear and just kind of echoing every now and then. Um, you know, yeah, you got to get yours out there, and it's definitely not my first and not my last, and I say that about you too. This is definitely not your first and your last book.
Absolutely,
Um, yeah,
absolutely.
and it,
Yeah, go ahead.
and if it is, I'm gonna be the first one to actually. I'm gonna call your mama. I'm gonna tell her, hey, your son is being a little reluctant and not putting that God given gift that he has and put it in word form so the world could see. And then I'm gonna snitch on you. I'm gonna tell on you, man.
And she would probably say something to me, and she would definitely say, hey, keep pushing, right?
Yes.
And I'm glad that I've had plenty of people who've done that. And next couple of weeks we're going to do this on a Thursday. We'll
Mm,
push we'll push it one day and try to get Liz on here as well.
okay. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
Wednesdays are hard. because some of her church commitments. But man, I think about where I'm at right now
Mm-hmm.
and spreading and sharing, and we got on for 6 months, did our thing and all that, and it was great to hear, grief and being a widow from from a female perspective, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Widowers is male, widow is female, right? And
Yeah.
just getting a female perspective is different, but very similar to what men go through. And just to hear people, and I remember that day at Kristen's celebration of life, and I was like, listen, I'm I've always been the type of person. If I roll up in a city and I need to find something, I'm gonna go gas up and find it myself instead of asking people. I
Mm.
cannot stand to ask people for help
Yeah.
because I feel like you're intruding, and sometimes a part of the whole male experience, right? You
Mm-hmm.
just want to get things done yourself. That's kind of our nature, right?
Yeah.
And I talk about that in chapter 3. And I think about that, and I remember her saying, I was like, she was like, hey, call me, I went through something similar. I was like, okay, and I was like, listen, I don't want to use people, and I'll get through this myself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 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 use me. And so, when people give you some of those subtle messages along the way that you're going to be okay and that I got your back, it kind of leads to another thing I was thinking. Pulled off some articles today. I'm going to read this first one for you. I'm going to read two of them. Kind of
Okay.
coincide what I was saying. I'm going to read two of them. First one of the hardest life lessons is knowing you don't have control over anyone. People will come and go. They'll surprise you, disappoint you, be the best thing that ever happened to you, or the worst. But the truth is, you never had a hold of them. Their choices their choices only your response. You can love deeply and still be left. You can give everything and still be misunderstood. The only real control you have is how you heal, grow, and rise for what they leave behind. To protect your peace and never beg to be valued. Real ones never need convincing.
Mm.
And I'm gonna read this other one. Um, this one struck me too.
Yeah.
I owe myself an apology for being in the spaces where I wasn't respected, wanted, appreciated, loved, or valued, but instead I stayed for the sake of our history. I owe myself an apology for putting people who never appreciated me before myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you think about people and this how this whole human dynamic, we're all together. In a lot of ways, we're so connected, but sometimes whatever happens around you is a mirror of what's going on inside you. So
I
I
agree.
just wanted to start out by sharing that, my brother.
Yeah. It's um it I don't mind venting, right?
Right.
I was venting on Swell, the app Swell, like that, because you have 5 minutes to just say what you want, read what you want, and it's a great app. Um, and occasionally I go on there because I can just sit like we're doing right now and just say something,
Hmm.
and then I'll get response
Right.
from other people, and and I like it. You and I talked last night, and I talked, I vent, and you gave me some advice, your opinion, and that's great. It's a great um, it's a great thing for me. And
Right.
so, but to get back to what you were saying, sometimes I reflect on things, and I'm like kind of blaming myself a lot of
Mm.
times. And
Mm.
uh, sometimes I got to think a little bit more thoroughly and start saying, all right, I'm not to blame on this,
Mm.
and little self love and self appreciation sometimes, not to the point where I'm vain or have this big old ego, self prophecy or whatever you can call it, lack of a just a lack of a word right now. But I really got to start kind of doing some reading like you just did, right? And the podcast does that. It allows me to, we're going to talk about a few things, humanity and all that, coming up. And I really, truly, truly got to do a little bit more reading and research. I was actually took a um, going to take the constitutional law class at Harvard
Oh, nice.
and get a certificate. That was something that was all over the internet. And something I'm going to do.
That's
Um,
great, man.
yeah, it's only a few weeks, so just kind of get updated on it. But let's go back to what you were talking about. Um, so today you read you're sitting down, you're reading those two articles. What made you go to that article? Those two articles.
I think this things come my way. And I've always said to you, there are no coincidences, man. And remember,
Yep,
it's all okay. And I think sometimes our head gets in the way. Our head is supposed to
I
be a
agree.
tool
Yeah,
for us, not vice versa. And
exactly.
sometimes it's like you can literally talk yourself in or out of anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Depends on how you're steering it, right? And think about it. Think about it. If you had a day where you worked all week, well, just say you worked all week, right? And say it was Saturday. You worked 6 days hard that week, and you said to yourself on Saturday, "Man, I got to get back to the gym."
Mm-hmm.
Sunday comes, right? And you go back to work on Monday, right? And you had already the intention of going to the gym. What do you think your mind's going to say? Either by the time you wake up, on your way to the gym, and that space in between, what do you think your mind's going to say?
Now you're going to the gym.
Yeah. You were about to go out the door to go to the gym. You woke
Yeah,
up and you worked all week, you're tired, and it's Sunday. What do you think your mind's saying to you right then and
I'll go Monday.
there? Yep. Or you know what? Man, I'm a little tired. Maybe I can just relax today or something, right?
Yeah, yep.
That's the that's the thing about our mind, right? And if you were like if you say your mind, forget you, I'm going anyway, right? You keep going, right? Some of the powers of kind of getting your mind back because it's going to steer you in the direction it wants to steer you, Charlie.
Yeah, exactly.
Always, always. And sometimes I do that a lot. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's like, "Yeah, I want to do this push-up challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do it. I just go do it."
Yeah,
And it's kind of like this whole thing of convincing yourself in and out of anything. And that's the thing that you and I have talked about before. It's like, man, this whole convincing thing. And sometimes our mind gets in the way. Sometimes, and it's really our greatest enemy because it operates on its own. And sometimes you can sit back and be the observer and watch, right? Just kind of let things unfold. So, and sometimes we just let our mind just go a certain way, and we know it's happening, right?
yeah,
Just
exactly.
kind of going along for the ride. You're not really in control of really what's going on. You're kind of stuck in that paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when people talk about, okay, the things I can do along the way to kind of control that narrative, right? Get out of my own way. It could be just a state of silence, right? being a state of stillness,
Yes.
going back to those things that are great, meditating and all those different things. Get an opportunity to get control of your mind. Put that in the book too. Kind of emotional thing that we got going on, because as we know, right? When you think about it, everyone goes through grief, man. I don't care who you are. And I mentioned this last week. You are going to lose someone close to you. It's inevitable.
Yes.
And I put words to what it is. I call it the grief creep. Remember the first time I said it around Liz, she laughed. She's like, "Oh wow, you got a name." Absolutely. Sometimes it's that whole thing. You can be frozen in time when it pops up. And it could be like, okay, showing you this and that, showing you this and that, showing you. And at that point, who are you, Charlie? Are you in it? You're not driving it. You're the observer.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go too deep into that as we continue to go into more things in my book. That's kind of one of the chapters I kind of dive into and what it is. And so this is why I led with explaining this, because it's like we can take any situation and overthink it. Let's just put it in simpler terms.
Yeah.
And we all do this. I put something out to a couple people recently. I didn't hear anything back from them. So my mind starts to take over. Not me. My mind starts to take over. It's this, and it's not. And sometimes when something happens, kind of step back.
Yep.
Let it unfold itself, and then you add to it. And I always said, we have been taught in reverse. You react to things that happen to you. That's how society teaches us, right?
I agree. Yep.
When last time someone say, well, be in a good state of health and peace and watch how your world unfolds. No one says that. It's the opposite. They get you to respond to something. Think about it. You met somebody, or you out somewhere, and you met some friends or something, and you guys just in that room, just sharing love and all that. So love or peace, great things come from it. Think about the last time you had a great party or went to a great party. What was in the air? Was there a whole lot of people being negative and all that stuff, right? And if people started out with great intentions, and then from there, things started to unfold in a very, very positive way. It's the thing we've been taught. So again, I don't want to go too deep. We could talk about this for hours and really what it is. So this is why I started with that, because I just think about this whole momentum thing. Really, it's everything. Momentum thing. This is why I was explaining to you. Less kids have less diseases. Why? Because they laugh more. They have more fun. Right? We're be serious, right?
What was that old saying you had? 1,000 laughs, I think it was.
100 laughs a day, man.
Yeah, that's right. 100 laughs a day. Yes.
Yeah. And you set out with that intention, right? Because this is all connected in some wavelength you could be in and all that. And everything starts to become alive from that perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think about it, it's like, how many times you think about a given day, right? So you got all the same 178 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
24 hours in a day, right? I mean, hopefully you can sleep somewhere 6 to 8 hours, right? You get your waking moments, right? The rest, right? How many times did you laugh at? How many times you chuckled or had something? You were joyous? Well, how often is that?
Well, I mean, I try to make it often, but
that's great.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. And I know some people might hear that and be like, okay, were you trying to say just being positive all the time? Yes. Yes. You feel better. You feel better over time. Like I said, you talk yourself in and talk yourself out of many different things. You can change the dynamic on it. There has been many experiments Hear about, I think it was Doctor or Scientist. He did an experiment on water crystals. He put negative energy towards it, it looked a certain way. He put positive energy towards it, it looked a certain way.
Mhm.
So, and people can Google this, look it up, go on YouTube, right? Look this up. It goes back to what we were talking about before, tones and frequencies.
Yes.
So, yes, I am an advocate about feeling better all the time, whatever comes your way. Easier said than done because that hasn't been my story.
Mhm. The It's crazy. This is the third week, maybe. Frequencies and tones has come up every week.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's a great reminder of myself. What
Yeah.
frequency am I emitting by me
Mhm.
not having a great vibration, me being angry about something that really doesn't matter at the end of the day?
Mhm.
Doesn't change anything right then and there to be pissed off about something. It doesn't change anything. We waste far too much time on that stuff. And there's so many people who are elderly and they tell you that bygones be bygones, just kind of just go with the flow with things. You hear and see this so much, and it really tones and frequencies, man. Really, and we look at that every day,
Mhm.
right? You go if you go put on the you go put on the news and they talked about this stuff all the time, you have a changed world overnight. Because at that point, people would be opposite, would not be operating from a deficit and doing bad things to each
I agree.
other because they're not in alignment with their true self. This is what happens, man. It could be something simple where I was in LA yesterday
Mhm.
and there was two cars that were stopped on this road. There was this guy in his truck, other guy in the car. I guess somebody blew at someone, and the guy screamed, "Get out the car!" So he gets out the car and telling the guy, "Come on, man. He's, I'm gonna do something." And I'm like, "Wow, I haven't seen it in a while."
Mhm.
And I'm looking at as a gracious observer, I was like, "Man, I get pissed off on these roads all the time," and I allow myself to so get out of alignment many times during the day, whether it's through an experience, whether it's someone else, and it doesn't serve you, man. So
Uh,
your next half an hour, you got that frequency built into you, right? You got that
mhm.
vibration built into you, and you become a mirror of what you are, the things that come your way.
Exactly. Yeah. Um, Frequencies and tones. Let me. I have to say this. The One of the co-owners of WNB1 Radio. It's her birthday today, Margarita Graham.
Mm,
MG, we call her MG. It's her
energy.
birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Are you gonna sing?
No, I definitely not gonna sing, but want to wish her a happy birthday. I know she's out there doing her thing, having a good time. So on our behalf, and especially when we displaying her station all over our podcast and kind of getting it out there. I just want to say happy birthday.
You got some really great people that I see that you have, or just know Charlie. You got a great community of people that's all around you, which is a great thing, my man.
Yeah, yeah. It's you know, kind of blessed and and people around me that include you.
I appreciate that, brother.
Would- And that's a good way to segment into humanity, right?
Yeah. Before we do that, I see Vinny there.
You see who?
Vinny,
Who's on your? He's commenting, or you say that again?
he's a Coach 100, superlative energy.
Oh, you know what? What's happening is your link on your profile is not public. so I can't
Oh,
see
really?
Vinny's comment.
Really? Should be.
Yeah, so on
Oh,
Facebook, I think it says friends to friends, or friends of friends.
okay.
All right. Well, we'll straighten that out
We'll straighten
sometime
that out.
next week. So that's good. So coach, if you see those comments, just go ahead and mention it. Just say, hey, Vinny says whatever, and at least this for this podcast, this show. The
Vinny, man, I've always respected this brother.
Oh yeah.
Um, I remember when Kristen won the Global Peace Song Award,
Mm,
Phoenix Rising Up. I remember that brother being there and always showed up, always a great man, and I really appreciate and love this brother right here.
that's good. That's good. Um the Man, this go back to frequencies and tones, just saying the dude's name, you could see it in your face. See, it's um, that warm, satisfying, just and people do that to each other, right?
Yeah, man, it's
We
like,
do, we do that. I see your text. I'm like, oh, it's Marvin. They get all
oh,
excited. What's going
likewise.
on? And
Yeah.
so that's good. Good. Um, all right. So humanity. I put a little comment here on this header. Um, Humanity is about connection, compassion, and understanding. It's about recognizing our shared experiences and embracing our differences. Differences. Believe it or not, you had said exactly what that says right there
Mhm.
for 6 weeks. And practically most of the time I have seen you, or have known you rather, um, you had said pretty much the same thing. You said it today too, actually. You know, our differences and humanity is just. Oh, now I see. All right, I got it right here now. I got Vinny's comment here. Vinny, I talked about his brother today. That's so interesting. That's so amazing that you know, Coach, a key to our Southern Cali CPV community. I'm Tavi's brother, reflecting on goodness of our community. Charlie comes from two great families, well, Perry, Grace, and more. I appreciate it. Vinny has a great family, comes from a great family, and I agree. He's definitely full of energy and will light up a crowd. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
walks in a room, you're gonna know he's there. Um, and if you're hiding out, he's definitely gonna come around the corner. Hey, what are you doing? The party's in the other room. Let's go. I
Right.
get it. Or if he sees that they need somebody to talk to, he's gonna talk to him. And
This is what I've always loved about the CV community, just the sharp people, the
mm,
the crafty, dynamic males, and the exquisite next level women. This is
mm,
what I loved about the CV community, and it's like the love all the years, man, and that's in my book. I'm really talking about that. Love the CV community, and always felt embraced. Um, yeah. So really, it's just a lot of great, rich history.
yeah.
It's only what 140 some years, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, well, almost 150 years, right? In America. Still don't know why when they came in, they went to the coldest place almost in America. That's
Hmm.
neither here nor there.
It's yeah, that is. You know what? You go from Africa to the snow, right, or the coldest part. And when you kind of think of it, like I forget, I think it was 1913. I can't remember when my great grandfather touched ground here.
It was
Um,
1913. Wow.
yeah, something like that. And so my cousin Karen was talking about how we left Cape Verde Islands and he went on a 30-day voyage to get here. Pack of chips and uh just to think about he was trying to get here.
Hmm.
But I want to go back to what you said. Why did they pick now the coldest part, the Northeast? And it's true. I mean, Florida was a whole lot closer. He could have been there.
Yeah.
Could have kind of turned into the Gulf of Mexico, went in there somewhere. And knowing the people, and they definitely touched ground there at some
Hmm.
point. But there was something about this area that everyone flocked to, and until this day, it's still the most highly populated Cape Verdean community is in Massachusetts.
Wow.
Regardless of the weather, it's still the highest population in this country is in Massachusetts. So, and now you look at sunny California where you are and Vinny is, and even though those numbers look massive sometimes, or they go into an event, it's still the highest population is in the Northeast and well in Massachusetts. Um, let's just kind of push everything aside to get back to humanity, right? The if we you talked about if the news kind of portrayed things in a positive way, the world would be better. And the understanding of the word humanity could make us better. Remember that story with the woman putting sticky notes all over the place, just a reminder to kind of stop her dementia from declining, and so she put sticky notes all over to remind her of what she had to do today. If we put the word humanity in its definition, maybe that would make things that much better for us today, on every given day.
Sure.
And I had some differences in the past few weeks going on with me, and trying to understand it, and I did focus on some things, but it goes back to what you were saying about adding the ingredient of positive and negative, right? When I was reflecting to all those things, the thing I was feeding the conversation or even my thoughts was the negativity. It was overwhelming and overflowing, that not looking at the positive things until later on. And then that's when actually the smile, or the better feeling, inside feeling started to come, the happy feelings, all right, things are things are better. I'll make it through, or just do something positive.
Mm.
So I don't know. I'm glad that you bring this up, you know, this word, because the past 3 days, 2 days, I've been actually kind of concentrating on it. 2 days, really. Um, Today and yesterday. And there's quite a few things, especially on YouTube, that just kind of listening to some of the conversations. There's a podcast that I want to listen to that I found, and I'm gonna kind of check that out and kind of put that in my head every day, pretty much. You know, even if I'm kind of putting in some earbuds and just walking around listening to a conversation about humanity.
Mm.
So,
It's a good point. It's a really good point. I would also always challenge you that um, the yin and yang is a necessary piece of what we do collectively,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? Because sometimes you got to dive into a little bit of the negativity. When I think about my start of my book and the title,
Yeah.
I dove into that side of my personality. We have that duality in nature for a reason.
Mm.
And it's okay because sometimes it's hard to gain perspective from just one side of the coin.
Yeah.
There's two sides of the coin. Sometimes you have to flip both sides in order to gain perspective. You don't have to be married to either side. I think sometimes things just are where they are. It's like you can have the most positive day or what's going on. You walk down the street and somebody smack you, Charlie.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to stay on one side?
No.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to own one. You're not defined by one side or another. One side brings a certain level of benefits, but you don't have to be married to either side because those are sometimes perspective. Peace, joy, and love don't always have to be looked at as good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? Because love is always there. Peace is always there. Right? You don't have to be defined by, okay, well, you get too much of an attachment to one side or another just because you're only looking at it from one perspective.
Yeah. Even though you mentioned peace, love, and joy, peace, love, and joy may not even be around you or in you or within you. So as much as you say it, but is it there?
I think it's always there. If you remove something that is not making you feel the best, well, what's left is peace, joy, and love.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to really search for certain things.
Yeah.
You go into a level of meditation after you've been doing meditating for a while, you come out of that with a place of balancement. You're at a certain place with all that stuff.
I agree.
So,
Yeah.
but that's just one perspective, and there's many. There's no right or wrong to any perspective out here.
No. It's part of humanity, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't have to be married to anything because
Mm-hmm.
what makes my perspective more right and exact than yours? Because
Yeah.
it's perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's always all okay. You know what I'm saying? We don't be married to anything, a perspective, and we can all learn and expand from different perspectives.
Yeah.
That's what I think about when there was no way from a grief perspective I wanted to hear anybody else's perspective.
Mhm.
Once I start hearing other people, oh, I see where you're coming from. Sometimes you don't see it until you're there.
Yeah. And one thing we got to do is listen, right? We listen to
Yes.
perspectives
Yes.
because as much as that perspective may not be able, let's just say it's coming from you to me, but I don't want to use it, or I decide to put it on the shelf.
Mhm.
However, later on, that perspective may be very beneficial in the conversation that I'm having with someone, or maybe the situation I'm in, that I said, well, maybe let me think. Remember Marvin's perspective on ABCD 1, 2, 3, right?
Right.
And then I say, all right, I'm going to use that. It's it's you got to gather and collect things as they come and go, and use them as they come and go.
You said it. You said it accurately,
Mm-hmm.
so accurately.
Yeah.
Gather. We
Yeah.
gather each other's perspectives. We learn from each other. No one has all the answers, but collectively, you know, there's something different with that. We all learn collectively. You never know. It could be somebody as young as 2. I
Yeah.
remember in preschool, one of my preschools, there was this 2-year-old. I thought the 2-year-old was 15 years old. So I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I was learning something from him. I was like, wow. You just never know. And you make a good point, not closing yourself off because we have an opportunity to learn. Do you know how much I've learned from people over this past couple years? Almost 2 years of experience of going through grief. I
Mm-hmm.
learned so much from people, how people feel, what they think, what they go through. And you start learning there's no right or wrong and how to do this. You just collectively learn. When
Oh,
we do this collectively, we start to break down this illusion of so much separation from us all.
yeah, and that could be from what you said earlier. That you would gas up the car and and look for something that you want, look for that help, right? You would look for that help on your own. Now all of a sudden, what's happening is now that you kind of you're not in that mindset really.
Mhm. Which is stupid.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Really was, because it was like I could have met the best person in the world. I could have met someone that just gave me, because I asked for instruction. I could have learned something from someone who is the wisest person I ever met. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because I feel like I had the best way, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't register. And so I learned from that experience, right? That
Yeah.
whole collective experience of this learning thing. And I think this is the thing we try to impart to people is like, man, I can get something from anybody. I can get something you can learn from anybody, some wisdom or something, a look or something. People always pointing in certain directions with certain things, right? It's not too hard to find sometimes what you need because it's always around you. We talked about before, you could be looking for love, could be looking for love in all the wrong places. Because
Mm-hmm.
instead of having the level of awareness, hey, the love that I'm looking for, I haven't gotten it from the right person right now. Or I haven't met the person who's ready to give me that type of love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always okay. I go back to what Vinny said. Kristen's energy was another. Oh, of course, it was everything. The love, all that stuff. And I think about it as like, uh, would have never thought I would have found someone like that in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
okay. It's like, and so you open yourself to that perspective of what you can have. And I let it be known as like, hey, listen, this is what I love to have. And open yourself to having it.
Yeah.
And we could really continue to break that down along the way, or breaking down. It's like you can have the things you want to have. Depends on how open you are to receive it.
I agree. I agree. The what in throughout your day today, you probably had some things that you were looking forward to, um, and I hope it was this podcast, right?
Always, man. This is my therapy, brother. And I hope I can hope we can always say something that sparks things in other people, get people to talk
Yeah,
or think and all this other stuff, because we collectively get momentum from that. That's
yeah.
beautiful, man.
It it's Vinny, I know you're still out there. Somebody like that with his mindset and I want those people to come on the podcast, right? And just say, hey, I want to get in this conversation. I need to get in this conversation right now. And just want to let everyone know that, if you're trying to get into the conversation with Marvin and I, start with the comment section and then ask for us to invite you to the podcast. And I could send you a link and get you here on the podcast to have this conversation. However, there may be a situation where you may be not properly dressed, got a bad hair day. Kind of get into that conversation through the comment section and keep going and add to it. Keep us on the air. Right, we're not restricted to an hour. We Marvin and I are gonna kind of keep conversation going, unless we have plans somewhere. But if we're if we're here on this podcast and your conversation is worthwhile, and we're gonna keep you on and keep going. So just want to throw that out there because it's real important. Sometimes they may want to hear something other than you and I, right?
Right.
So, um,
Yeah. We can break bread on. I'm always prepared any topic we can break bread on.
yeah,
Because you
yeah,
just never. I mean, you're like your own computer. The stuff you see all the time, and you're just recording. You're just recording. You're just recording. You know, and you know how you're recording.
mm,
How
oh,
did you know to get from the room you're in to the kitchen, your bedroom?
mm-hmm,
Because you've done it before, and it's in your
yeah,
memory. So how to get in your memory? You recorded it.
yeah,
That's simple.
exactly. Hmm.
I always say click the easy button, right?
Yeah, and it's when you mention that, we got a new route at work and been going different directions, left, right, this way, that way. So finally, I recorded in a route that I actually like going.
Hmm.
So now I know when the stop sign's coming. I know when the signal light's coming. I know when I gotta go left. I know when I'm gonna right. It's recorded,
Yep.
and it's you know what? And it's got a whole lot simpler,
Yep.
kind of to and from wherever we're going. Um, but that's so true. You record yourself. Uh, how many times you get out of bed half asleep? You know,
Yep.
your eyes are unfocused, walking in the darkness, trying to get where you're going, but you're getting there.
Yep.
And you're like,
You recorded away already. I mean,
yeah,
honestly, it's like what I love is we try to take things in life and really, you know, unpack them.
hmm,
Unpack it, man. And look at it from a different perspective sometimes. Sometimes, right?
exactly, exactly. The I noticed that in one of the videos, a podcast we did, I was telling you about my book, and I was calling Lucky Lady,
Hmm.
and that's not even a title; it's Lady Luck,
Hmm.
and I went back and forth with that, right? How I was gonna do it, what was I gonna call it,
Right.
and so here I am having a conversation during one of our podcasts, and I said the wrong title, but that's how I was going back and forth with it. Um, and well, that book. Now this is weird, right? The book was inspired based on a life of um, between me and it was actually someone else in my life, right?
Hmm.
And so Michelle and I are walking around today, and we happen to see the person that's inspired that book. But
Hmm.
I haven't like initially the conversation was, hey, I want to write a story about you. No, I don't think so. No, people get, no, no, I don't want to do that. No, no, no. So I said, well, I think it's an interesting story. I think I'm going to have to kind of be creative and write something about it. And I did,
That's great.
with the help of AI. And, you know how it works. You have a few things, um, fictional, non-fictional, and you kind of put it together and boom, there it goes. There's a story. And
That's yeah.
but today I was a little reluctant. I wanted to say something.
Hmm.
And the reason why I didn't say anything because I knew she was probably going to go home and try to look for it, being
Hmm.
published and everything. But I had some errors in it, and I have to fix it. Gigi Cosmo had she read it and she said, "Hey, you made some mistakes," which she's another author,
Oh.
and
Okay.
she actually. Hold on 1 second. It's one of her books. So, but anyway,
The space between, what's to say? The space between.
the space between us, affairs of the heart.
Okay.
So, and I'm sorry, it's little. So she said, "Hey, you made some errors in the book, and just want to let you know." So I'm thinking that all day, and like I gotta fix it. I wanted to do it during my break, I didn't. I'm definitely gonna do it after this podcast. Um, because I wanted to tell that lady. I know you told me not to write a story about you, but I did something, and just you inspired it, and I just want to let you know. So, um, I was
That's
trying
cool.
to, I was trying to just, I wanted to tell her so bad,
Mm.
and I couldn't,
So
just
how,
couldn't,
how come you couldn't?
because I know she would have went to go look for the book as
Oh,
soon as she got home.
okay.
She would have probably clicked and wanted, and then the book would have been on order, and it would have been a book with an error in it, and or some errors in it, and I didn't want that.
Mm. Okay.
So
All right.
yeah, so the all right, so let's go. Since we're on that, your book, we got
Yeah.
2 more weeks, right? You think?
Um, no, it's done.
All right.
I am determined when I'm going to release it.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll be sometime in June.
That's
Um,
right. You did tell me that.
I'm
I'm
going into
sorry.
a countdown. Um, yeah, and so I'm getting rid of embracing grief.
Okay.
I'm going to do unpacking grief. So
No, I
change.
like that.
Yeah, unpacking.
I like that change.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
unpacking.
not saying it just to agree with you, but I I do like that because it actually embracing was probably part of the journey,
Mm-hmm.
but your
Yeah.
complete journey was unpacking.
Yep.
Your 100% of it was unpacking,
Yes.
and embracing was along the
Mm.
way.
Yeah,
Along the
it
way,
was definitely along the way, and
yeah,
I'm still in some, a lot of ways embracing it, but
yeah,
I'm really unpacking it now. And sometimes it's a self awareness of what's happening, and it's okay. It doesn't mean it makes it better
hmm
because it's a. I will steal what Liz said to me. It sucks. It really.
mm,
It sucks on so many levels, man.
yeah,
You know, by going through this, talking about this, doesn't mean I feel any better.
hmm
It just means that, along the way you've embraced it, and to talk about it is unpacking it. It's
yeah,
really that simple, man. And maneuvering through life with it. But it absolutely sucks. So I will never it I will never over understate that.
yeah, and it's um just those words have me reluctant to approach some people, right?
Hmm.
Um, friend Lenny, we lost a very dear friend of mine,
Hmm.
his wife, 2024.
Hmm.
Uh, another friend of mine, Teresa, she's out there. I know she's listening. I
Hmm.
want to get her on it and talk about her story, and so uh, and the reason why I am hesitant is from what you just said. Grief sucks.
Yeah, it just no doubt. And the reason why I'm doing all this stuff, um and talking about this, one, it's important for me to share my story.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's almost like standing naked on a street corner. And sometimes you have to bring up what's in you in order to move to another level. Sometimes you just got to be in your rawest form, and this is what this thing is about, really. And to find those out here who are dying in silence because of this.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, just kind of, it's almost like that song "Fantasy" by Earth, Wind, and Fire. You will find those who are in search of you.
Hmm.
And it's just out there, give my heart to people, my love to people, because it's important when someone goes through losing someone like that. They may appear, and they'll tell you that they're okay. And we'll dive more into that next week. But these people need a lot of support, man. Don't get it twisted.
Hmm.
People who are having, the closer someone gets to them, they lose them, the more devastated they're going to be. And so, really, and with that, we all get to be our best version of ourselves to each other. It's kind of interesting how grief can make us a better person for each other.
I agree.
Sure, you'll never hear that again.
No. Hmm. You know what? I got a new angle, so I think I know what I'm gonna do. The wow. Hey, check this out. I don't know what I did on my phone, but it's been recording everything we've been talking about.
Oh, nice. See,
It's going all. Let me get rid of that. Yeah.
nothing happens by accident, my brother.
Yeah. Um. Crazy. Uh, that's why when the phone goes off, you kind of. Here I am. I'm trying to reach down and turn it off so someone don't disturb our podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And accidentally hit another button. So um, it's on. Why? When I kind of look at it, why do I need this phone during the podcast?
Right.
Why is this on our belt every day?
Yeah, we keep it. We're married to it.
Yeah. Um. So all right. We got episode 6.
Yep.
Lucky 7. What are we gonna do with Lucky 7 episode? Right.
Yeah, I think we're gonna unpack. We're gonna just kind of unpack this whole thing. I think Lucky Seven. We'll kind of we'll kind of go on there because I think along the way we touched on many topics. I
Hmm.
think we'll go a little bit deeper into this, especially this part of connecting with people. And really, as we go on, man, we're going to kind of touch on really those two individuals you mentioned.
Yeah.
If they really let themselves go and be themselves, get there over time, but you are not the same person you were before.
Cool.
You're just not. We could do a whole segment on that.
Yeah.
How are you different than before?
Hmm.
What was it that caused you to be different? What is it you're feeling in all this stuff?
Yeah.
And it all starts with a simple question to yourself. People who go through it, right? Do you make a determination to go forward in that?
Hmm.
And then everything else flows from there. You see it. You
Yeah.
see it all the time. You hear it all the time. There are people that's like, okay, so and so, they were a couple for a long time. One passed away, and one within the year passed away.
Hmm.
You hear it all the time. Some people, it could be a matter of hours, man.
Yep. So
So
it's that
yeah,
old saying, he or she died of a broken heart,
Yeah, absolutely, man.
right?
That's real.
Yeah, yeah. It's all right. Um I'm ready for next week. Whatever it is, because we welcome it all. Any kind of conversation coming our way, we'll talk about it. And sometimes you have to lose yourself. Is
Sometimes you have to lose yourself to rebuild from there.
mhm. All right. I appreciate you, brother. We can
Likewise,
de-
bro.
we got our own YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to it. Everybody, please, please, help us out. Help a brother out. Help two brothers out. Hey, that's a good name. Two Brothers Podcast. So, and in fact, I actually, speaking of podcast, I want you to go on a friend of mine's podcast, and I have to talk to him about it. But it's I like the way he interviews people,
Mhm.
and I like to see him interview you, and you guys have a conversation. So that's Silky, friend of mine, Derek. He has the podcast Yo But Listen,
Okay.
and he had a conversation with another friend, um, Blair, who's from the D.C. metro area, as she says, and she's now here in New Bedford, doing a lot of things with the theater, and their 2 hour conversation was unbelievable.
Mm.
I just had I really enjoyed it, and during that interview, I thought of you. So
Anytime.
I said I gotta get these guys connected. Only he's gonna have to figure out how he's gonna do it. Being opposite ends of the country. So, but
Yeah, anytime, man.
you got to make it happen. So,
Anytime.
but I like the way he does it. Does it all audio and
Mhm.
does it on Spotify, and where you got to get the words and wisdom of Coach on the Yo But Listen podcast. So I'm gonna have to work on that.
Okay.
All
Anytime, my
right,
brother.
all right, all right. Thank you, and
Thank you, brother.
I will talk to you over the weekend, and
Yeah, we'll catch up.
and get ready for next Wednesday.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. All
God
right.
bless. Thank you.
You too. Thank you, brother.
All right. I'm gonna try to. You know what? I got to do something real quick because I learned from the beginning of this podcast. Change, change our intro.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but it's okay.
Yeah,
It's
but
all okay.
I'm gonna change it while we speak because I don't want no more glitches
That's okay.
on episode 6. But episode 7, I'm gonna try to be better.
It's okay.
All right. So all right, brother. Have a good night. God bless. Give your daughter a big electronic hug for me. Well,
Okay, brother.
I appreciate it, both of you, and tell mom I said hello.
I will.
All
Same
right,
to your wife, brother. Okay.
I will. Thank
All
you.
right.
Take care, brother.